Well, I'm going to give you some very recent research. It's John Dewey in 1896, in Democracy and Education. So there's an argument that I know you would share that we've gone away from community education. It isn't like, we were always, we never thought of it. And in fact, Dewey's idea is fascinating that, one, the school resides in a community. And second, it's a fulcrum of change for the community. So that the ideas in education get transformed into the community and change the community. So school changes society, society changes school. We would build schools, and they were like get well better pill schools, and you think the kid goes to the school, and this is the right lesson. We'll do Kohlberg, we'll do the Heinz lemma, we'll do Navako's anger aggression model, anger moderation, mediation model, and that's nonsense. And a lot of the, maybe the lesson of criminal justice is, and I'll give an example, a cousin of schools, boot camps. I did some studies on boot camps, and a student of mine reminded me, he found them somewhere, and had these kids would be in a boot camp, and they had it all together when they left, and they'd be back in jail in 2 weeks. Working in Booker T. Washington with the Circle of Courage program, I was their assessor. We had kids killed 100 feet from the school. And a friend of yours and mine, Amir Baraka, gave this great lectures in that mundane murder thing I wrote. And he gets up in front of his hot gym and he says, some of you are going to be dead this summer. Some of you will go to prison, and some of you will be okay. And we had 3 kids killed that summer. So it's comforting to think that these kids' lives are in school, but in fact they go from the Booker, or they go from the short school into the Calio, or any one of these other lethal projects. This is a subtlety. There's a competitive thing between the schools and the community, in the sense that dope dealing and prostitution are very exciting. And the Carnegie Commission report of 1983, where they talked about the banal affect of schools, which is still true of a lot of teaching, it can't compete with the streets. The streets are just a lot more fun, So this one kid was in a school, and I saw him down there, being a pimp for 2 of the girls from the school, And that was way more exciting than anything these teachers were teaching them. It's sad. So in order to compete with the music, with the culture, with the lore, with the guns, with the dope, with the game, the schools have to be much more engaging than they are right now. So that's one of the immediate dynamics. The other thing is this whole thing, we blame single black mothers for this whole crime epidemic. And no one is engaged in teaching them. And one idea I hope comes out of your efforts, the stuff we're doing possibly with the RSD, is, it's kind of a Pablo Freire idea, is how to get the mothers to read. This idea of kind of family systems that if the mothers don't read, the kids don't read, if fathers don't read, the kids don't read. But also, why not have the kids teach their moms, or really have community reading, community language, community history, community science? And, to really create this without boundary walls. The other thing is technology is, every dope dealer in the city has an Android, right? Blackboard, iPod, I'm one generation back. But, the idea that you have in an iPod or an Android a school in a palm, and can use this ubiquitous technology to, do a community education. The other thing is I was reading some literature on school failure, which you know better than I do. One thing that jumped out is service-based learning, to really see the, and that, one of the proven effective, which, I don't know if you would have thought that was on the list. I didn't, that was the school dropout network. And that was surprising to me that if you can engage these kids in community initiatives, they don't commit crimes. And it goes back to some things we did with Kohlberg. We found that Ralph Mosher and Sprinthal found that counseling is better for you than getting counseled, because you role take and empathize with the kid who's being counseled. So we teach them Rogers, Kharkov, and that actually facilitated moral development much more than being a recipient. So making very much the John Dewey approach, is to make the kids proactive change agents. You know, and this thing, with Terry Clay today, who I'm seeing in a few minutes, who's a great ex-convict, formerly incarcerated person, very idea guy, is changing the culture. He's really, really amazing guy. And the idea of the sort of Paulo Freire idea, where he had the peasants in Brazil understand the causes of their illiteracy. Maybe what the schools should be about is understanding the causes of crime. What if we send these kids out and we give them tools, analytic tools, change tools, learning tools, teaching tools, and let them become the change agents?